The image of the blue police box of the TARDIS is recognisable anywhere. Other than the Doctor and the theme tune, the police box TARDIS is the only thing that's been consistent since the first ever episode way back in 1963. However, for this story, producers John Nathan Turner and script editor Eric Saward toyed with the idea of changing it. Well, that's what they told the press anyway. It's unlikely that there was any real intention to keep the changes permanent, but this did achieve the objective of gaining much publicity for the return of Doctor Who for season 22 in 1985 in Colin Baker's debut season. So in this episode we see the iconic police box replaced, albeit temporarily. The true writer of this story has been subject of much debate over the years. Eric Saward undoubtedly has a significant contribution, but as a script editor he wasn't permitted to submit his own scripts. Writer Paula Woolsey is officially credited under a writer name of Paula Moore. However, long-term Who contributor and unofficial advisor Ian Levine claims that he created the core plot of the story. Given the amount of time that's passed and continued disputed claims between all, we're unlikely to ever know. Kids TV presenter Sarah Green accepted an offer to appear in this story, at the time having just finished a stint on the children's BBC TV flagship programme Blue Peter, and she could also be seen on the highly regarded and widely viewed Saturday morning kids TV magazine show Saturday Superstore. This story represented one of producer John Nathan Turner's early stunt castings. See my dedicated video on this channel for the others. And this casting was sure to attract kids and dads to tune in. In an odd move, she was cast as Varn, an alien from the planet Telos, meaning she was barely recognisable given her costume and distortion of her voice. In what was a nice touch, script editor Eric Saward and producer John Nathan Turner decided to cast Michael Kilgarath into the role of the Cyber Controller, 18 years after he appeared in the same role in Tomb of the Cybermen. Michael had clearly been enjoying fine dining in this period, as the Cyber Controller looks a little heavier. Hey, it's not a criticism, we all have that problem. During the early 80s, particularly during Eric Saward's era, Doctor Who attracted continual criticism for its use of violence. Bearing in mind it was still produced as a children's show broadcast on a Saturday tea time, this was probably justified. This story is often cited as an example of this, with the Cybermen crushing Lytton's hand scene being a prime example of these concerns. This episode gives fans a nod with its return to the scrapyard of 76 Totters Lane, last seen in An Unearthly Child, and seen for the last time in Classic Who only a few years later in Remembrance of the Daleks. It's fair to say that for whatever reason, Totters Lane is a beacon for extraterrestrials. In a much more subtle nod to fans of television, when the TARDIS lands in the scrapyard of Totters Lane, a synth version of the theme to Steptoe and Son is used. This was a long-running and very popular BBC comedy set in the scrapyard of Albert Steptoe and his long-suffering son.
This looks familiar.